morning, everyone. Imagine waking up and hearing on the news there's been another shooting in your neighborhood and the police believe it was a gang violence. Now you fear for your life when walking to school because you know if somebody were to ask you where do you live, you weren't allowed to be over there. You hear so many sirens that it becomes a normal routine to hear one every day. You don't realize you live in a state of panic every day because this is how life is every day. You feel a heightened sense of anxiety. You feel anxious to even leave your own home and constantly feel like you need to have your guard up. These feelings may contribute to high levels of cortisol. Prolonged exposure to stressful environments can cause chronically high levels of cortisol, leading to harmful effects on the body and mind. Many students, employees, and caregivers go through stressful environments and experience these symptoms without realizing it is harmful for the body and can have dangerous long-term effects. I live in Brooklyn, specifically in a neighborhood named Brownsville. According to the Trace.org, an article about groups in Brownsville fighting to rewrite its own history on violence. The shooting rate in Brownsville is 23 per 100,000 residents, which is 4 times the rate for the city. I have experienced these same symptoms and was diagnosed with high levels of cortisol before coming to college. Being diagnosed with high cortisol motivates me to make the most out of my college experience because I know I can control my cortisol levels and reduce them. I know I wasn't always like this. I became like this because of my environment. Today I'll be talking about what is cortisol, how can a stressful environment increase cortisol levels, and the effects of cortisol. Cortisol is a hormone produced by the adrenal glands, which sits on top of the kidneys. This hormone is called the stress hormone. Cortisol regulates blood sugar, manages metabolism, controls blood pressure, and reduces inflammation. During danger, cortisol triggers a fight or flight response, providing the body with an essential burst of energy. During this, your body temporarily pauses non-essential functions, like digestion and immune responses. In your brain, there's a complex network called the HPA axis. The HPA axis is your body's central stress response system. The complex network connects your brain with hormone-producing glands and sets off a trigger to the body about a potential threat or stressor to let the glands know to start releasing cortisol. When you are in a stressful environment, this triggers a specific chain reaction to help your body survive and adapt. When a stressor like a chaotic home environment, peer comparison, or future uncertainty is continuous, the HPA axis stays activated, causing prolonged exposure to high cortisol levels. The effects of high cortisol on your mind are the amygdala is the part of your brain that controls fear. High cortisol makes this part hyperactive, which leaves your brain in a constant state of alert, making you feel worried or anxious even when you are safe. The prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain that is responsible for planning, decision making. High cortisol weakens this area, and you may experience brain fog, difficulty concentrating and making choices and staying organized. The hippocampus helps you learn and remember things. High levels of cortisol over time kills off brain cells in this area and reduces its size, which leads to forgetfulness and difficulty retaining new information. The effects of cortisol on the body. Persistent excess of this hormone affects your entire system, often causing the release of glucose, which is sugar, from your liver and increases insulin resistance, which increases the risk of type 2 diabetes and suppresses immune system, which makes it harder to fight off infections and slowing down wound healing. Before we wrap up today, we explored how cortisol negatively affects your body and mind. We looked at what is cortisol, how can a stressful environment increase cortisol levels, and the effects of high cortisol. Understanding this can help us better understand how to manage our bodies and mind and become aware of the impact of our surroundings. Lower your cortisol. The happiest people have the lowest level of cortisol, a stress hormone that raises your blood pressure and weakens your immune system. Cut the stress, more yoga, less road rage, and you'll cut your cortisol production. By Daniel Gilbert. Thank you for your attention.
Yeah.